Shapar, which means horn. Yayan, which is wine. La Yasha'Allah, which means to Israel. Shapar, which is horn. Imagine. So, Plenty Hakadum, which means stand, turn, and face the east. The Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawa, Shmashamayim, Kadashaya, Shemka, Yahweh, Balakaska, Tabaa, Ratazaka, Hayah, Aisha, Baratza, Kawa, Hayah, Bashamayim, the Thunderno, Bachum, Kalion, Basalafano, Kawakno, Kasalafano, Kawakino, Wala'a, Tabayano, on the same one, a ball, Hawashino, Mayan, Ra, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Waha'al, Wahata Pa'arak, La'ulumya, Aman. In the English, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. Pray for the power in the Hebrew. Yahweh, Ba'ashimi Haushah, Baba Kushah, Nithunlanah, Akak, Larpa'ah, Kol Makala, Wakal Marawa, Akak, Latahar, Hamitazarayim, Akak, Lakwayum, Hamathi, Akak, Arukawa, Atamala, Lagarashani, Bahashimi Haushah, Duwada Aman. In the English, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh, please give us the power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease, the power to cleanse the lepers, the power to raise the dead, the power against unclean spirits, to cast them out. In the name of Yahweh, thank you. So be it. Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'ayani, Al-Hahari, Ma'ayani, Yaba'a Izari, Ma'an Yahweh, Aisha, Shemayim, Wa'aratza, Aliyathan, Lamawat, Regalka, Aliyanawam, Shamar, Hana, La'ayanawam, Wala'aya Yashan, Shawamar Yashan, Yahau Shamar, Yahau Tazal, Aliyat, Yamyunka, Yawamam, Hashemash, La'aya Kakad, Wayarak Balayah, Yahweh, Yashamar, Mikal Ra, Yashamar, Afnapashka, Yahweh, Yashamar, Tazaf, Wabuah, Ma'aitha, Wa'ai Awulum. In the English, I will lift up mine eyes into the hills. From whence cometh my help? My help cometh from Yahweh, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. Yahweh is thy keeper. Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. Yahweh shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in, from this time forth and even forevermore. Psalm 83 in the English. Alahai, Al-Damiyalik, Al-Fakarash, Al-Fashakwat, Allah, Kayahana, Awayabi, Yahamiwan, Wamashinayik, Nishawa, Ra'ash, Alaimika, Yairiyomwa, Sawa, Wayasai Aitazawa, houses up a 1 year, a Mara, a Kawa, Wanakaki, Magoya, Wala'a, Yazakar, Shum Yasha'al, Iwa, Kaya, Yawai Tazwa, La Yukadi, Ali, Baryat, Yakaraf, Ahalia, Adawum, Washamali, Mawaba, Wahagari, Adawum, Salak, Gabal, Wa'imwan, Wa'imlak, Palashat, I'm Yashab, Tazawar, Gamashawar, Nalawat, Aiman, Hayawa, Zarwa, Labani Lawat, Salat, Aisha, Lahum, Kamadi, Kasayasara, Kayabi, Benakal, Payashwan, Nashamadi, Bayandar, Hayawa, the man, the Adama, Shathumu, Nanayabu, Kaira, Wakazaab, Wakazabak, Wakatazalmana, Colin Sayakoma, Ashar, Amaru, Narashat, Lanawat, Af, Nawat, Alahayim, Alahaya, Shathumu, Kagalu, Kakwash, Kapanirka, Kaash, Tabairi Ira, Wakalahab, Dalahat, Hari, Kantaradab, Basair, Wabasawapat, the Bahalum, Mala'a, Plenty, Palawan, Wayabakwash, Shubka, Yahau, Yabash, Wayabahal, Aini Ai, Wayapara, Wayabag, Wayadari, Kaya, Asa, Shubka, Yahau, Labaka, Aliu, I'll call her Ratza. In the English, keep not thou silence on my power.
Keep not thy silence on my power.
Hold not thy peace.
Hold not thy peace.
And be not still, O power. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult. And they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people. And consulted against thy enemies. They have said, come, and let us cut them off from the nation. With the name of Israel, may be no more remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites, of Moab, and the Hagarites, Gabal, and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre. The shore also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot. Salah, do unto them, as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin, at the brook of Kison, which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like Oreb, and like Zaed. Yea, all their princes as Zabah, and as Zalmunna, who said, let us take to ourselves the house of the Most High in possession. Oh, my power, make them like a wheel, as the stubble before the wind, as the fire burneth the wood, and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid of thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name. O Yahweh, let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame, and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the Most High over all the earth. The blessings in the Hebrew. Barakatah Yahweh, Wa Yahweh Shah, Wa Ma'at Ta'ala, Wa Al-Hayy, Matizabi Ab, Al-Wafi Ab, Al-Wafi, Hasarani, Akpatiziani, Akayali, Bahatwata, Yahweh, Hashem Yahweh Shah, what Amen. In the English, bless you Yahweh, and Yahweh Shah, Michael, and the angels, commanding General Yohanan, the generals, the captains, the officers, the troopers, the assistants, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shah. Thank you. So be it. Yah-S-U-B-K curses. Blessed are you, Yahweh, King of heaven and earth, and all things living. Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shah. Listen to us now, right now. Send evils and curses, and punishment and destruction to the heathen that speak against us. thy prophets,
thy
the
prophets,
teachers,
teachers,
the princes, the priests, the Israelite brothers in the school, send evils and curses, and punishment and destruction to the heathen, and shake loose the treasure of the rich of Israel, and refuse to give to the school. Force their riches to enter into thy sanctuary. Send evils and curses, and punishment and destruction to the Edomites, and the nation, and their drug dealers, the court system, the prison system, Planned Parenthood, all the governments of our enemies, Amalek synagogues and armies, the Roman Catholic Church, the Pope, Islam, Christianity, Egyptology, militia, Ku Klux Klan, Aryan Nation, skinhead, posse comitatus, the gay movement, the lesbian movement, spies, workers of witchcraft, NASA space program, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Wall Street, open up the internet and the airwaves, the cable access channels, and the radio channels. Convict the spirit of any of thy people that seek to stop us and bring swift destruction to all the heathen that stand in the way or try to stop us from broadcasting your word throughout the planet Earth. Let loose all the plagues, cause them to go to and fro through the earth and consume them. Let the plague shake the house of the thief and the murderer. Let your house shout. Michael and Gabriel come down with the flying saucers and punish all the heathen. They come up against us as we speak thy word. Cause it to be known by all that it is the angels that have done it. Cause it to be spread through the media throughout the whole world. Cause them to shake thy coming. In the name of Yahushua. Thank you always. So be. So I face the front. Yeshabim. We back here with another week on this Sabbath service. We have been deep in the early chapters of Genesis, going through these foundational stories that are so heavy, that are so important to understanding where we're at today and how we got here. And we are right in the middle of Joseph's story, where he's been last week. His brothers sold him off. You know, they threw him in a pit and left him there. Before they even got a chance to sell him, some Midianites came along and sold him. And now Joseph is in Egypt. But before we get there, we took a little detour into a story about Judah's children, and we're going to pick it up there in the Hebrew at chapter 38 and verse 15. Let's see where we are. Genesis, the 38th chapter and the 15th verse in the Hebrew. Wayara'ah Yehuda, Wayachashaba, Wazona Kaya, Kasatha, Punya, verse 16, Wayat, Aliyah, Al-Hadarak, Wayamar, Haba, Na'a, Abu'a, Aliyaka, Kaya, La'a, Yadai, Kaya, Khalafwa, Hawa, Wasa Amar, Mathathan, Laya, Kaya, Tabu'a, Aliyah, verse 17, Wayamar, Anakia, Ashalach, Gadia, Izayam, Mun, Hatazan, Watha Amar, Amthathan, Irabuan, Id, Shalachka, verse 18, Wayamar, Ma, Ha'irabuan, Ashar, Athan, Laka, Watha Amar, Kathamka, Wapathilak, Wamashka, Ashar, Bayadka, Wayathan La, Wayaba'a, Aliyah, Wasahar, Lawa, verse 19, Wasakum, Wasalak, Wasasar, Tazaipa, Ma'alia, Wathalabash, Bagadia, Alamunwath. Verse 20. Verse 20. By Shalach Yehuda, Athgadia, Ha'azium, Bayad, Ra'ayawa, Ha'idalma, Ha'idalmia, Loquakath, Ha'irabwan, Mayad, Ha'ashah, Wala'ah, Matazah, verse 21, Wa'esha'al, Ath, Anashia, Makoma, La'amar, Ayah, Hakodasha, Hawa'ah. And that word, Quadashah, is the word for harlot that's related to the word that is used for sodomite. It's basically the feminine version of the word used for sodomite. But Ayanyam, Al Hadarak, Wayamarwa, La'ah, Hayatha, Bazah, Quadashah. And we're going to go back to the English. In chapter 38 and verse 15, when Judah saw her, he thought her to be an harlot because she had covered her face. So now to recap where we left off last week, Judah had a son who died. And this was Er. And then he had a second son named Onan. Now, Judah got his first son, Er, a wife named Tamar. And Er, as the scripture says, was wicked in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord slew him. So whatever Er was doing, the Most High got tired of it and just got him out the paint. And then, because they had the law, which this is another reminder, yet another reminder in these early scriptures that they had the law. The law wasn't just suddenly zapped into Moses. They had the law. Moses wrote it down, but they had the law. And this story right here involves the law of when your brother dies childless, you are to take his wife and go in unto her to raise up a seed that will be considered his seed and his lineage. To raise up a lineage so your brother's name doesn't just die out because he died young. So that's what Onan was supposed to do. But he went into his brother's wife to have sex with her, but he pulled out and busted on the ground. And he wasn't supposed to do that. His whole purpose of going into his brother's wife was supposed to be to raise up a child. So he went in to have sex with her to enjoy that part, but didn't do what he was supposed to do. And he tried to avoid that part. Because of that, the Most High killed him too. And so now both of Judah's sons that both went into this woman was both gone. And Judah had another son that was growing up, but he wasn't ready yet. He wasn't of the age to be married yet. And he told this woman to wait, and this son will go into her too. But he didn't do it. He didn't follow through what he was supposed to. He didn't want to send any more of his sons into this woman because he was associating the misfortune with her. So when she realized that this third son, Shelah, was grown and that he wasn't coming to her, she did a strange thing and a wicked thing. And she went and disguised herself as a harlot, and that's where we're about to pick up. And so in verse 15, when Judah saw her, he thought her to be an harlot because she had covered her face. Verse 16, and he turned unto her by the way and said, Go to, I pray thee, let me come in unto thee. For he knew not that she was his daughter-in-law. So everybody's messed up in this verse because now Judah's going to find a whore. His daughter-in-law is pretending to be a whore, which is, in other words, she's making herself a whore. And so now Judah goes into her. So verse 16, let me come into thee, for he knew not that she was his daughter-in-law. Because again, the law tells you that a woman is not supposed to be with a son and that son's father. That's wickedness. That's madness. A father and son is not supposed to uncover the same woman, even though that goes on out there. That's how destroyed we are. We do stuff like this openly. You know how many times I've heard stories like that? Man, I know everybody out there has heard stories like that. That's how messed up we are as a people. That's why we got to remember that we all come from hell. We all living in this hell, and we got to come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments. Nothing else is going to save us. Nothing else is going to change this. But you think you're going to vote for somebody that's going to fix this? Y'all really, every 4 years, some of y'all really get the idea in your head that you're going to go out there and vote for a new president, and they're going to sign some bill that's going to fix the depravity that's going on out there. And it's not, somehow it doesn't register that this is deeper than that. This is deeper than a bill or a policy. This is why we need a whole culture reset. We got to come back to our original culture, come back to these laws in this scripture. Otherwise, we're going to keep on being degenerates and perverts out there that will do this knowingly. And so to continue verse 16, it says, and she said, what wilt thou give me that thou mayest come in unto me? And he said, I will send thee a kid from the flock. Now look, I don't know about y'all, but a kid from your flock is worth a lot of money. But this is what was going on in this story. And she said, wilt thou give me a pledge till thou send it? In other words, she was saying, how I know you're going to send it? Let me hold something of yours until I get it. Verse 18, and he said, what pledge shall I give thee? And she said, thy signet and thy bracelets and thy staff that is in thy hand. And of course, your signet is like your signature ring. You have your seal on. That's how we have the seal of Solomon, the shield of King David that was on the signet ring of Solomon that he would stamp and sign documents with. Well, Judah had a signet, and this would identify him. So she knew what she was doing. She was setting him up. So she asked for something that could absolutely identify him, something that would be his immediately. And he gave it her and came in unto her, and she conceived by him. Verse 19, and she arose and went away and laid by her veil from her and put on the garments of her widowhood. So even Judah going into the harlot didn't even pull out, but Onan did, and that's why he got, knocked out the way. But verse 20, and Judah sent the kid by the hand of his friend the Adullamite to receive his pledge from the woman's hand, but he found her not. Then he asked the men of that place, saying, where is the harlot that was openly by the wayside? And they said there was no harlot in this place. And so now we're going to go back to the Hebrew. In verse 22. Vayashab al Yehuda, Vayamar la'ah, Matazafia, Wagam, Anashia, Hamakuwam, Amar la'ah, Hayatha, Bazah, Padashah, verse 33, verse 23. Vayamar Yehuda, Pekwach, La, Pun, Nahaya, Labuaz, Hana, Shalachathia, Hagadia, Hazah, Wathala, Matazatha, verse 24, Wayahaya, Kamashalash, Chadashim, Wayagad, Layahawada, Amar, Zanathad, Damar, Kalathka, Wagum, Hana, Hara, Wazanawanyam, Wayamar, Yahawada, Hawatazi, Ya'awa, Wathasharak, verse 25, Hawa, Mawatazaf, Wahaya, Shalcha, Al Hamiyal, Amar, Layash, Ashar, Allah, Lawa, Nakia, Hara, Wayamar, Wathamar, Akar, Na'alam, Hakasamath, Wahapathialium, Wahamata, Ha'Allah, verse 26, Wayakar, Yehoda, Wayamar, Tazadaqua, Mamunya, Kaya, Al, La'amun, Nasathia, Lashalah, Bunya, Wala'a, Yasak, Iwad, Wadaitha, verse 27, Wayahya, Ba'ith, Wadatha, Wahana, the Awamyum, Babatana, verse 28, Wayahya, Wadatha, Wayathun, Yad, Wathakwach, Hamayaladath, Wathakwashar, Al Yadwa, Shanya, Lamar, Zah, Yatazah, Ra'ashana. And back to the English in verse back to the English, verse 22. And he returned to Judah and said, I cannot find her. And also the men of the place said that there was no harlot in this place. And Judah said, let her take it to her, lest we be shamed. Behold, I sent this kid, and thou hast not found her. And it came to pass about 3 months after that it was told Judah, saying, Tamar, thy daughter-in-law, has played the harlot, and also, behold, she is with child by whoredom. And Judah said, bring her forth and let her be burnt. And so Judah completely forgot what he did. he said without hesitation, he said, bring her and let her be burnt. Or maybe he didn't forget what he did. Anyway, verse 25, when she was brought forth, she sent to her father-in-law, saying, by the man whose these are, am I with child? And she said, discern, I pray thee, whose are these? The signet and bracelets and staff. And so she showed him these things that he left with her that were clearly his. Verse 26, and Judah acknowledged them and said, she hath been more righteous than I, because that I gave her not to Shelah my son. So even for as foul as she was for setting this whole thing up, Judah recognized that for the way that he violated the law and for the way that he set all this in motion, that he had more responsibility and that he was worse than her. And he said, because that I gave her not to Shelah my son, because he knew that was the lawful thing to do. That was what our culture was to do. To not, A, leave his original son to be childless and without a lineage, and B, to leave his wife to be alone and unprotected and out there in the world. That's why that law was created, to take care of both of those things and tie everything together and keep everything together. And he knew her again no more. Verse 27, and it came to pass in the time of her travail, that behold, twins were in her womb. And it came to pass when she travailed that the one put out his hand, and the midwife took and bound upon his hand a scarlet thread, saying, this came out first. So now we're going to go back to the Hebrew and we'll come back to this. Verse 29 in the Hebrew. Wayahya, Kamashiyab, Yadwa, Wahana, Yatazah, Akiwa, Wathamar, Ma, Paratazah, Aliyaka, Paratazah, Wayakara, Shamwa, Paratazah. Verse 30. Wa'achar, Yatazah, Akiwa, Ashar, Aliyadya, Hashanya, Wayakara, Shamwa, Zarah. chapter 39 and verse 1. Wayosap, Hawarad, Matazarima, Wayaparun, Wayaquinawa, Poatayapar, Sarayas, Paraiah, Shar, Hatabakim, Ayash, Matazaria, Mayad, Hayashimalium, Ashar, Hawaradawa, Shema. Verse 2, Wayahaya, Yahweh, Yawasap, Wayahaya, Ayash, Matazalak, Matazaliak, Wayahaya, Babayath, Adunua, Hamatazaria. Verse 3, Wayara'ah, Adunua, Kaya, Yahweh, Athwa, Wakal, Ashar, Hawa'ah, Aisha, Yahweh, Matazaliyah, Bayadwa, verse 4, Wayamatazah, Wayawasap, Kun, Ba'ayanyawa, Wayasharath, Athwa, Wayapakwawa, Albayathwa, Wakal, Yash, Lawa, Nathan, Bayadwa. Verse 5, Wayaya, Ma'az, Apakwayad, Athwa, Babayathwa, Wa'alkal, Ashar, Yahshua, Be'arak, Yahweh, Athbayath, Hamatazaria, Bagalal, Yawasap, Wayahaya, Barakath, Yahweh, Bakal, Ashar, Yash, Lawa, Babayath, Wabashadah. And back to the English. And this will be verse 29. And it came to pass as he drew back his hand that behold, his brother came out. And she said, how hast thou broken forth? This breach be upon thee. Therefore his name was called Pharez, which is Paratazah in the Hebrew, which is break forth, because he was supposed to be the second one out, but this brother just popped out first. Verse 30, and afterward came out his brother that had the scarlet thread upon his hand, and his name was called Zerah. Chapter 39, and Joseph was brought down to Egypt, and Potiphar. So now we're back to Joseph's story. Now we slid back over to see what's going on with Joseph. Remember, when we left Joseph chapter or so ago, he had been left in a ditch by his brothers. His brothers thought to themselves, wait a minute, as if it wasn't bad enough. They said, hold up, we didn't make no money off of beating him up and leaving him in a ditch. Let's go, let's go sell him. But before they could even go back and get him out the ditch, some Midianites came along and grabbed him up and sold him. And so they came back to their father and soaked his coat in goat's blood, so that his father would think that an animal beat him up and tore him up and killed him. And so now we're back seeing what's happening with Joseph. And Joseph was brought down to Egypt, and Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard, an Egyptian, bought him of the hands of the Ishmaelites, which had brought him down thither. So the Midianites sold him to the Ishmaelites, which brought him down and sold him to Potiphar, the captain of Pharaoh's guard. Verse 2, and the Lord was with Joseph, and he was a prosperous man, and he was in the house of his master, the Egyptian. And his master saw that the Lord was with him, and that the Lord made all that he did to prosper in his hand. Which reminds you of a couple of things. Number one, of course, we know that the Most High is guiding Joseph through all this, and that everything that's going to happen is because the Lord's hand is with him, and they recognize that off the bat. Also, I know y'all hear that tired stuff that white people like to say online, that, oh, there's been slavery all throughout the earth, and everybody was slaves, And y'all got to get over slavery because we all been through slavery. And what we know, but they refuse to acknowledge because the scriptures say they will hold themselves not guilty, is that what they did was by far the most brutal, inhumane, cruel slavery that has ever existed on the planet. And it's one of the ways that you know that you're an Israelite. Your forefathers went through. Your forefathers were here in the Americas under the hands of this white man. But here, as they start to describe, the type of slavery that went on in this region at the time, Joseph was, Joseph was able to prosper. He was able to do things. He wasn't in the outhouse getting his back whipped raw and everything else. It was a different type, a different structure. And the Egyptians weren't no friendly people neither. We all know what we're going to find out as we go towards the story with Moses. That they were brutal and they made us miserable, but nobody has anything on this white man. Back to the scripture. Verse 3 and verse 4, Joseph found grace in his sight, and he served him, and he made him overseer over his house and all that he had put into his hand. And it came to pass from the time that he had made him an overseer in his house and over all that he had, that the Lord blessed the Egyptian's house for Joseph's sake. And the blessing of the Lord was upon all that he had in the house and in the field. So the Most High made everything go well in that house so that they would, look at Joseph favorably. Now we're going to go back to the Hebrew. And some shalom to everybody in the comments. Yeshaya said, was it unlawful for Judah to deal with a harlot? If so, was he justified due to the fact that it wasn't a harlot but his daughter-in-law? Okay. It was unlawful for Judah to deal with a harlot. Remember, everything that we see that's going on in here that these men are doing, these men are not, perfect. They're not above. This is what we talked about last week. This is real life. Just like what all the brothers did to Joseph. We don't have to ask if that was unlawful or wrong for them to beat their brother up and leave him in a ditch for dead and leave him to be sold to the Ishmaelites. We know that was wrong. So just the fact that somebody did something that does not indicate that it was good or acceptable or lawful. It was absolutely unlawful. The scriptures say there shall be no harlot of the daughters of Israel. So how can there be no harlot? And the scriptures say that you shall not deal with a woman of another nation. So that's already out. And if there shall be no harlot of the daughters of Israel, then how could it be lawful for you to be with a harlot? And second part of your question, was he justified due to the fact that it wasn't a harlot? Well, a harlot is not a job title. If you do the acts of a harlot, then you're a harlot. She sat by the side of the road and waited for somebody to come by and offer her some money for the box. That's a harlot. It's more wrong because it was his daughter-in-law, but he didn't know at the time that it was his daughter-in-law. But it would be more wrong because there's a law against a man uncovering his son's wife and vice versa. That's never supposed to happen. So I hope that answers your question. And we're going to head back to the Hebrew here in chapter 39 in verse 6. Wa'yizdav kal shalawa bayad yosap wala'a yadai athwa ma'uma kaya halacham ashar hawa'a awkal wa'yahaya yosap Yapa Tha'ar Wayapa Mara'ah, verse 7, Wayahaya Akar Hadabaryum Wahala Wathasha Ashaf Adanyua Af Ayanya Al Yosap Wathamar Shakabah, Aimya, verse 8, Wayama'an, Wayamar, Al Ashaf, Adanyua, Hun Adanya, La'a, Yadai, Athya, Ma Baba Yath, Wakal, Ashar, Yashua, Nathan, Bayadia, verse 9, Ayanunwa, Gadawal, Baba Yath, Hazah, Mamunya, Wala'ah, Chashak, Mamunya, Ma Kaya, Awathka, Ba'ashar, Ashafwa, Wa'ayak, Aisha, Hara'ai, Hagadalah, Haza'af, Wakata'afya, La'alahayim, verse 10, Wayahaya, Kadabara, Al Yosap, Yawum, Wala'ah, Shemai, Alia, Lashakab, Atizalah, Lahaywath, Aima, Wayahaya, Kawum, Hazah, Wayaba'ah, Habayatha, La'aishwath, Malakathwa, Wa'ayan, Ayat, Ayash, Ma'anasha, Habayath, Shum, Babayath, verse 12, Wathatha Pashawa, Babagadwa, Lamar, Shakabah, Anya, Wayazab, Bagadwa, Wayada, Wayanas, Wayatazah, Hakawatazah, and back to the English. Verse 6. And he left all that he had in Joseph's hand, and he knew not aught he had, save the bread which he did eat. Meaning, he put Joseph in charge of everything. He didn't even know what he had. He didn't keep track of everything. He trusted Joseph completely with everything because he saw the type of brother, the type of man Joseph was. And Joseph was a goodly person and well favored. And it came to pass after these things that his master's wife cast her eyes upon Joseph, and she said, "Lie with me." But he refused. So his master's wife started checking Joseph out, and his master's wife was a grimy woman. His master's wife was a nasty woman who was just waiting for an opportunity to whore herself out on him. And so she was checking Joseph out. And as soon as she saw the chance, she said, "Lie with me." Verse 8, but he refused and said unto his master's wife, because Joseph was a righteous brother. Joseph was not playing around. He didn't come there for that. He didn't go through everything that he already went through to just be the type of grimy dude that would lay down with another man's wife as soon as he saw the opportunity. Joseph was man enough to know how to turn a woman down. But some of y'all can't even handle that concept. Just the idea of it blows your mind. To turn a woman down, no matter who it is. And I worry about some of y'all, because some of y'all would have sex with anything if given a chance. Some of y'all do not know how to turn anything down. And this is simple and basic. This is the most basic, the cornerstone of a society is not encouraging whoredom, not encouraging or participating in women being adulterous, having sex outside of the one man that they're supposed to be with for their life. The bedrock of a society is that can be intact. is that the men of the society are man enough not to violate another man like that, even if she throws it at him. And this woman was throwing it at Joseph. And Joseph was ducking and dodging. Literally, we about to find out. So verse 8, but he refused and said unto his master's wife, behold, my master, what if not what is with me in the house? Meaning, my master don't even know what's in the house. And he hath committed all that he hath to my hand. He trusted me with everything, including you, you grungy, nasty woman. Verse 9, there is none greater in this house than I. Neither hath he kept back anything from me but thee. Meaning he let me have anything. Anything I want in this house is mine. He put it in my trust. But obviously you're the exception because you're his woman. Because thou art his wife. How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against God? So of course the thing is wrong no matter who it is. This is wrong even if it's your enemy. But it's especially wrong if the dude has been nothing but good to you and trusted you with everything. Verse 10, and it came to pass as she spake to Joseph day by day, that he hearkened not unto her to lie by her or to be with her. And so she was throwing it at Joseph every day of the week. Every time they was alone, every time she could track down Joseph in the house, she was trying to get at it. She was saying, she was straight up. The scripture says, she said, she wasn't being subtle about it. She was chasing Joseph all through the house, telling him, yo, give me that, Joseph. And Joseph was ducking and dodging like a champ because he was a righteous brother. He was a real brother. Verse 11, and it came to pass about this time that Joseph went into the house to do his business, and there was none of the men of the house there within. So Joseph wasn't the only servant. Obviously, there was a lot of servants. And so she was probably, Joseph would be over here, tending to something, and she would kind of corner her up, slide up on him, and be like, come on, Joseph, what's up? And Joseph was ducking and dodging, getting out of there, but there was other people around. But now she finally caught him with nobody there. And verse 12, and she caught him by his garment, saying, lie with me. Meaning she grabbed Joseph by his whole robe, his whole clothing, whatever he had on, she grabbed it and she said, I want it now, Joseph. And she had such a hold on him that the scripture says he left his garment in her hand and fled and got him out. So the only thing that he was able to do is just slip out of his whatever he had on and dip, because she had such a hard grip on his garment. That's how bad she wanted it. That's how much she was throwing it at him. And she just slipped out. He just slipped out his thing and took off. Because Joseph was a real brother that had some righteousness about him. And that's a lesson, man. You got to know when to turn it down, even if you got to duck and dodge and run and get through it like an obstacle course. You got to know when to turn it down, man.
I believe.
For real. You got to bob and weave off that box. Joseph had to get out of there one way or another because he knew that the thing was a wicked, unrighteous thing, and he knew that he would be spiting all of the mercy and the favor that the Most High had shown on him. And it shouldn't be that hard. But if it is, you got to fight whatever it is that's telling you to do the other thing. Because you gotta be able, when they write your story down in the history books, you want to look like Joseph. You don't want to be the weak, grimy, mealy-mouthed dude that gave in. They said, "Oh man, I guess she right here. She bad. Ain't nobody gonna know. The Lord knows." And your story is going down in a book somewhere. Even if nobody on earth reads it, they're reading it up there. And you either going to be the weak dude that they're looking at, man, he couldn't even turn this woman down. He knew how wrong this was, but he went with it anyway. Go ahead.
I just couldn't resist.
I just couldn't resist. It was right there. I couldn't help myself. I don't know what came over me.
No.
You weak, man. That's weak. How weak can you be? Life, this whole life is about battling the things in you that's telling you to do things that you know is wrong. This whole life is about battling the things that tempt you, battling the things that draw you, that hold you down, battling the things that's telling you to do something that you know is wrong, battling the things that's hard for you. This life ain't easy, man. Right. Who told you life was going to be easy?
Right.
This whole life is war, whether it's against yourself even, whether it's against the things that you struggle with. And if you can't come out on top, if you can't get out of these situations when you're in them, because that's when it's real. It's easy to talk about it. It's real when it's right there. And if you can't be on record that you slipped out of your garment and dipped, then what you going to say for yourself, man? How you going to say that you did anything positive on this earth? Nah, I don't care what else you did if you contributed to the discord and the disarray that's out there in our community. And one of the top ways that happens, and that's why it's promoted so heavy in music, is through this idea of wanting to be with another man's woman. That's weak, man. In 1 second. Let me finish this. That was verse 12.
Man.
Yeah. That was verse 12. So we're about to go back into the Hebrew. So we're going to get a second precept here. State your register.
Bayan Yala, Baloy, Banyasha Allah.
Bayan Allah, Baloy, Banyasha Allah.
Yabashim Yasha Brakatam.
Yabashim Yasha Brakatam. Oh, grab a chair. Yeah. So now we're about to go back to the Hebrew at verse 13. And we're going to see what happens now that Joseph got himself out of this situation, because it ain't over. Because women don't take rejection very well. I hate to put y'all up on that. Ready with the Hebrew? I'm sorry. Verse 13 in the Hebrew, Wayhaya, Karawatha, Kaya, Izab, Bagadwa, Bayada, Wayanas, Hakawatiza, verse 14, Watapara, La Anasha, Bayatha, Wata Amar, Lahum, La Amar, Ra'awa, Habu'a, Habi'a, Lanawa, Ayash, Ibaria, Latazkak, Bunwa, Ba'a, Alia, Lashakab, Imya, Wakara, Wall, the dock got a wall, verse 15. Waihaya Kashemaiwa, Kaya, Hariyamathia, Hawalia, Wakara, Waizab, Bagadwa, Hatazalia, Wayanas, Wayazah, Hakawatza, verse 16, Wathanach, Bagadwa, Atazala, Id, Boa, Adunyua, Albayathwa, verse 17, Wathadabar, Aliwa, Kadabarium, Ha'ala, La'amar, Ba'a, Aliyah, Ha'ibad, Ha'ibaria, Ashar, Abath, Manoah, Latazakha, Bayah, verse 18, Wayahaya, Kaharyamya, Kowalia, Wakorah, Wayizab, Bagadwa, Atazalia, Wayanas, Hakawataza, verse 19, Wayahaya, Hashemai, Adunua, Ath, Tabaria, Ashafwa, Ashar, Dabarah, Aliwa, Amar, Kadabarium, Ha'ala, Aisha, Loya, Ibadka, Wayahar, Apwa, and back to the English, verse 13.
Verse 39 and verse 13, which reads, and it came to pass when she saw that he had left his garment in her hand and was fled forth, that she called unto the men of her house and spake unto them, saying, see, he hath brought in an Hebrew unto us to mock us.
See, she, like I said, women don't take rejection very well. So she knew what she was going to do. As soon as he dipped without his garment, now she had the perfect setup to frame it. Keep going.
Khan. He came in unto me to lie with me, and I cried with a loud voice. Verse 15.
So now she changed up the whole story that quick. She said, look at him running off without his garment. See, our master brought in a Hebrew to mock us. He came in to try to have sex with me, and I cried out. She changed it up that quick, and let that be a lesson. If you all want to go out there and get with some woman that you know that you're not supposed to be dealing with, what do you think is going to happen?
Right.
Are you surprised? Look, this is why it's so important to teach brothers to take your time and vet a woman and be sure of who you're dealing with and be sure that this is somebody that you can trust. Because if you just go and lay down with somebody on the spot, just because she got you feeling good or boosted your little ego, you don't know, you've given her all types of power to do all types of various things. Of course, in this case, he didn't even do it. But it shows you that just being alone with the wrong woman, with an untrustworthy woman, is a dangerous thing.
Right.
Deadly, for real. Go ahead, read.
Come. Verse 17. Oh, wait, select.
Verse 15.
Verse 15. And it came to pass when he heard that I lifted up my voice and cried, that he left his garment with me and fled and got him out.
So she's saying that once I yelled, he got nervous and he just ran, and that's why he left his garment behind. See how easy, how quickly she changed up the whole story? Read.
Right. Listen. Verse 16. And she laid up his garment by her until his Lord came home.
Yeah, she kept that garment because that was her evidence for her messed up story. Keep going.
Verse 17. And she spake unto him according to these words, saying.
So now she's telling the master once he got home. Go ahead.
Slakia, saying, the Hebrew servant which thou hast brought unto us came in unto me to mock me.
That guy, that Hebrew servant that you like so much, that you trust with everything, look what he did with your trust. Now look at the story that she's telling, the seed she's planting. Go ahead.
Verse 18. And it came to pass as I lifted up my voice and cried, that he left his garment with me and fled out. Verse 19. And it came to pass when his master heard the words of his wife, which she spoke, which she spoke unto him, saying, after this manner did thy servant to me, that his wrath was kindled.
And so when he heard her story, and he said, the story that she run down, of course he was mad. And of course he believed her. Because if this is your wife, you trust her. And you're supposed to be able to trust her. And that's why you gotta vet these women so you know that you're trusting the right one. So that you know that if your wife comes to you with a story like this, and you get mad and you go out there to put yourself on the line and do whatever you gotta do, you're doing it for a woman that you know told you a real story. This is real life out here. And women like this, y'all women should hate women like this the most. Because they're the ones that make it hard, because women really go through stuff out there. And it's a shame. And women, we all know women that's been violated in their lives. I've known many, because so many women go through it. And so then when a woman comes out here and puts out a fake story, that makes things worse for the women that's really going through it. We shouldn't have to question when a woman says something like this. We should be able to just go out and handle the situation. But it's not so, because of grimy women like this. Is there more in that verse?
Yeah, it's like it for man.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is why it's so crucial for us to have, the women that are seasoned to teach the younger woman. This is what it's talking about, where you're supposed to be teaching. This is the part where women are supposed to be. You're supposed to be teaching the younger sisters,
right,
to not go through this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're not supposed to be teaching because you know a couple of scriptures or whatever. Okay, cool. That's all right. You know what I mean? Like, you're supposed to know the scriptures and the Torah and the Tanakh and everything like that. Then that's all lineage. You know what I mean?
Right.
But at the same time, you ain't supposed to be getting that knowledge and saying like, yeah, I know better than you now. Like, you about to know. Now you deceive, you played yourself now.
And that's Christianity right there, that would even make a woman think to feel that way. But we're in a place where our women are so destroyed because these philosophies that they get a few scriptures and think they know better than the men. And think that they're going to go out there. Now they're judging the man as they're evaluating a man that could be a husband. Instead of evaluating him the right way, the righteous way, they're judging whether they know the scriptures better. How backwards is that, man?
Extreme.
That's why it's so important. Like you said, the women are supposed to be teaching the younger women how to act and how to look at things and their whole world outlook. Instead, our women are teaching their daughters sexy red songs. Instead, our women are teaching their daughters to get up on the table at brunch and twerk on the table. This whole society is backwards, and the thing that we gotta fix is the women, because that's the state of our women is why we can't bring anything together, man. But it's like Captain Zarak always says, as long as men keep loving whores, women are gonna keep being whores. And they act this way because there's always some dude, there's always some lame out there that's gonna chase down these women and tell them sweet things and validate them and be with them and buy them things, no matter what kind of grungy slut they are. And that's the fault of you dudes out there to do that. That's the reason they're still like that, because there's always somebody to validate.
I know, man. It's gonna be a time where you have to just, you know what I'm saying, you gotta believe in the Lord. You know what I'm saying? You gotta really, like, how much love do you have for the Lord?
Right.
Bro, to have the strength to say, no, I'm not dealing with that nonsense. You know what I mean? And I know it's hard. I know you gotta, you know what I'm saying? We probably look. It be women in our family. It don't even have to be an intimate relationship. It could be just women in our family, our aunties. We grew up with a lot of us. We grew up with our moms. we grew up with our grandmothers, you know what I'm saying?
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So we have this feminine, we have this feminine hierarchy in our subculture, you know what I'm saying, quote unquote. So we always fall into that and then get subjected to that. But at the end of the day, man, you gonna follow the Lord or are you gonna follow that?
Right.
You're gonna follow, you know what I'm saying?
You can't even stand up to your Christian auntie. What you gonna do?
Yeah, you're done. You're doomed. You're doomed. You're done.
You're doomed to die.
It's a lie.
Yo, this is real talk though, because that's what time it is out there, and that's why we gotta fix this. This is the main thing we gotta fix. But you know, you brothers out there can hardly give up pork. How you gonna choose? How you gonna turn down a woman? You can't turn down a ham sandwich.
Can't call that a my sport.
Oh, back to the Hebrew. You got the Hebrew on it?
Okay.
It's verse 20.
20. 39. What verse we at?
Verse 20.
20. It's a lot here.
No, you too wild.
20. Wayaka Adania Wayasa Ataya Wayatabada Allah Wayah Hashayah.
That Bayat HaSahar is the prison. Just like we call this Bayat Sapar, this is the house of books. This is the school. The place where they threw Joseph in was Bayat HaSahar, which is the house of imprisonment. Go on.
Makoryam Ashar Salami Ashar. Asaraya.
Skip that in the parentheses.
Asharayim. Waya Haraya. Sham. Shah. Haya. Sham. Babaya. Asahaya. Verse 21. Waya Haya. Yahweh. Ah. Wayasa. Wawath. Alayawa. Hasad. Salami. Hasad.
That chesed is mercy. Keep going.
Okay. Waitham. Hanawa. But I am one. But Salami. But I Banya. Salami is Shah. Baya. Hasa I. Verse 22. Wayathaim. Shah. Baya. Hasa R. Bayad. Yawsa. Ath. Call. Ha. Sa. Wire. Asha. Babaya. Ha. Shah. Wa'at, call, Ashar, Isanyam, Sham, call, Ashar, Ashar, Sham, Hayah, Hayah, Aisha, verse 23, Ayan, Shar, Wayath, Ha, Shahar, Ra'ath, call, Salaki, Ma'a, Yam, Fayara, Fa, Salaki, Ya, Radab, Ba'asha, Yahweh, Athawa, Washa, Athwa, Asha, Yahweh, Matazallah, Yah, verse 40. When you die, Ha, Da, Barai, La, Ta, Ay, Ma, Kwa, Malak, Matazai, Yaha, Ha, La, Ada, La, Na, Yam, Lama, Matazai, verse 2. Wayakwatazar, Pa, Ra, I, Al, wait, yeah, slap, Al, Sha, Naya, Sa, Ra, Ya, Ayur, I, slap, I,
Sorry,
Sha,
guys.
Ha, Ma, Ha, Mar,
I'm shocked.
I'm Shaku, slap, yeah, Wa, I, Sha, Ha, Wa, Ha, Yam, verse 3. Wayathan, Atham, Ba, Ma, Shamai, Ba, Yam, Baya, Baya, Sha, Ha, Thwa, Hatha, Ba, Ha, Yam, Hatha, Ba, Ha, Yam. Yeah,
Hatabach.
Hatha, Ba, Yam, Hatha, Thwa, Al, Baya, Ha, Sahar, Makwa, Ram, Asha, Yawasa, Asar,
That's a war.
Hustle.
And excellent. Back to the English. Verse 20, verse 39. Right, chapter 39, verse 20.
Verse 20, 39 and verse 20. And Joseph's masters took him and put him into the prison and placed where the king's prisoners were bound. And he was there in the prison.
Now remember, the only time you're going to see prisons come up in the scriptures are times when we're in captivity, because prison is not a part of our culture. This is a part of our oppressive culture, and the white man loves it, particularly for us, because it doesn't reform crime, it doesn't fix crime, it doesn't do anything but make better criminals and take us out the picture for a minute so that they can make us slaves all over again.
That's right.
The prison system in America was built to replace slavery. And it was built to oppress so-called blacks and Hispanics. And if you can't see that, I don't know what you're looking at. But it's not part of our culture. Our culture of punishment is one of deterrence and punishment on the spot. You know, we got punishments like giving somebody lashes, because you get lashed in public square in front of everybody. You're gonna remember that. You're gonna think about that before you do the next thing you're gonna do.
Yes, you do.
Yeah. If you've seen the last guy get his head took off in the public square, you're definitely gonna think about that before you go do something.
Right.
So that's what our culture is. But this is, he's in Egypt. They threw Joseph in prison. So Joseph went upstate. Continue.
And the keeper of the prison committed to Joseph's hand all the prisoners that were in the prison. And whatsoever they did there, he was the doer of it.
So the Lord is still with Joseph. And wherever Joseph goes, he finds favor. And wherever Joseph goes, he ends up running the place, because the Lord was there with him. And so here he goes. Now, within probably a week or two of being there, Joseph, the prison guard, gave everything into Joseph's hand. And now he's kicking back and letting Joseph run the show. Keep going.
Right. Verse 22. And the keeper of the prison committed to Joseph's hand all the prisoners that were in the prison, and whatsoever they did there, he was the doer of it. Verse 23, the keeper of the prison looked not to anything that was under his hand, because the Lord was with him, and that which he did, the Lord made it to prosper.
So just like the guy that Joseph was serving before, he came to trust Joseph so much that he didn't even pay attention to what was going on, because he knew Joseph had it under control. Keep going.
Verse 23. The keeper of the prison
chapter
looked.
40, verse 1.
The book of Genesis, chapter 40, and verse 1. And it came to pass after these things that the butler of the king of Egypt and his baker had offered their lord, the king of Egypt,
had offended their lord, the king of Egypt. So the butler and his baker, you can imagine this type of king. When the butler did something wrong, maybe the baker burnt the cinnamon rolls. The butler forgot to change the toilet paper, who knows? And so he threw them both in prison. Go ahead.
And offended the lord, the king of Egypt, verse 2. And Pharaoh was wroth against two of his officers, against the chief, Salaki, against the chief of the butlers, and against the chief of the bakers. And he put them in ward in the house of the captain of the guard into the prison, the place where Joseph was bound.
So this almost sounds like they used this prison like I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with you yet, but I'm gonna let you rot in here for a while until I decide. Keep going.
Verse 4. And the captain of the guard charged Joseph.
Is that verse? Okay, verse 4, back to the Hebrew.
Genesis chapter 40, verse 3.
Verse 4.
Verse 4. Wayakwar, Shaw, Ataba, Hayat, At, Yawasa, Athon, Wayashar, Athon, Wayahaya, Wamayam, Bama, Shamar. Verse 5. Wayahalamya, Halayam, Ha, no slap, Hala, Wayam, Shana, Ya, Shana, Yawam, Shana, Hayam, Ayash, Hala, Mawa, Ba, La, Balay, Balayala, Balayala, and night, slap it twice. Had, Hala, Yash, Wa, Waha, Pa,
Okay.
slap, Waha, Wahala, Pa, slap, bacon, slap it. Asha, Lamalak, Matazari, Asha, Asa, Asa, Yarya, Baba Ya, Ha, Sa, Ha. Verse 6. Wayaba, slap it. Alayaham, Yawasa, Baba Wakwar, Wayayar, Athan, Wa, Hainam, Za, Ipayam. Verse 7. Wa, Ya, Shayal, At, Saya, slap it. Saya, Pa, Ra, I, I, slap it. Asha, Athwa, Bamasharmya, Bayat, Arwan, Lamar, Padaya, Payaya, Nam, I don't want. Ra'ayam, Hayawam, verse 8. Wa Waya Madya, Ma ya wa ya wa ya madya ala woya ala yom hama hamanaya wapatha aya athaya wa waya ama waya ma alaham alahim salaki alaham yawasa halawa la alahayim pata ra nayim yawasa halawa la alahayim pata ra nayim sapara saparayam na laya verse 9 Yahweh sapar sharp hamashakwayam I halamawa la yawasa wa ya mar ha layan yawasa amar lo ba ha la wamya wa ha na han so kapan lapananya kapan pa nayam verse 10 what wabagapan shala raya gam wa haya ka pa ra ha I la tha na na taza ha ba sha yalawa I slagi ah sha kalathaya I slagi I na bayan verse 11
Back to English. From verse 4.
what was it verse 41 verse 40
1, 2, 3, 4, right?
40 okay verse 4 okay Genesis chapter 40 and verse 4 and the captain of the guard charged Joseph with them and he served them and they continued a season in ward.
So everybody that came into the prison, the captain just said, Joseph, you got this, right? And he just leaned back in his chair and said, keep going.
Verse 5. And they dreamed a dream, both of them, each man his dream in one night, each man according to the interpretation of his dream, the butler and the baker of the king of Egypt, which were bound in the prison.
So right after they got thrown in prison, they woke up one morning, they was talking, they was like, yo, I had a crazy dream last night. And he was like, yo, I had a crazy dream last night.
Wow.
And they told each other about this dream. Keep going.
Verse 6. And Joseph came in, and Joseph came in unto them in the morning and looked upon them. And behold, they were sad.
So they was confused about these crazy dreams they both had. They was just sitting there looking sad. Keep going.
Verse 7. And he asked Pharaoh's officers that were with him in the ward of his Lord's house, saying, wherefore look ye so sadly today?
What's up? Why you look so sad? Go ahead.
Verse 8. And they said unto him, we have dreamed a dream, and there is no interpreter of it. And Joseph said unto them, do not interpretations belong to the Most High? Tell me then, I pray you.
Joseph was like, that's no big problem. Just tell me the dream. Go ahead.
Verse 10. And in the vine were the branches. And in the vine were 3 branches. Verse 9. And the chief butler told his dream to Joseph and said to him, in my dream, behold, a vine was before me.
So there's a huge vine right in front of him. Go ahead.
Verse 10. And in the vine were 3 branches, and it was as though it budded.
So this huge vine, 3 branches is coming off, and they're starting to bud. Flowers, some starting to bloom off the branches. Go ahead.
And her blossoms shot forth, and the clusters thereof brought forth ripe grapes.
So now they bloomed, and there were some huge ripe grapes on the vine. And guess what? If you want to know what else happens in this dream, you're going to have to tune in next week. I imagine him up here. Shofar, which means horn. Yun, which means wine. Yasha'Allah, which means to Israel. And Majum Sarah Punya Hakadum, which means turn and face the east. Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew, Abanawa. Shabbat Shemayim. Kodashayah. Shem Kaf. Yahweh. Balakah. Tabah. Hayah. Shah. Baratza. Sawa. Hayah. Hashemayim. Thundana. Wakam. Palio. Salakana. Kawafino. Salakno. Kawafino. Allah. Abiyana. Sayward. Ball. Hoshina. Mayun. Ra. Kaya. Laka. Amalakwa. Allah. Amen.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. In earth. As it is in heaven. Give us this day. Our daily bread. And forgive us our debts. As we forgive our debts. And lead us not into temptation. But deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom. And the power and the glory. Forever. So be it.
Amen. We pray for power in the Hebrew. Yahweh. Bashim Yahshah. Baba Shah. Thundana. Akah. Rabah. Kama Kala.
Kala.
Wakama the Wa.
Kama
A Ka.
a ka.
Latahar.
Tahar.
Kama Tasharaya.
So right.
A Ka. Bakoyam.
Shakoyam.
Going too fast.
Lahakoyam. Hamathim.
Aqua.
A Ka.
A ka.
Arakawa.
Ayakawa.
Hatamala.
I'm gonna tell you all.
Lagarashun.
Okay, shut.
Bashemi Hawasha.
Shimmy out shut.
The water Amun.
What am Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of Yahweh Shah.
In the name of Hawasha.
Give us the power.
Give us the power.
Please give us the power.
Please give us the power.
Please give us the power.
The power to heal.
Power to heal.
All manner of sickness.
All manner of sickness.
And all manner of disease.
And all manner of disease.
The power to cleanse the leper.
Power to cleanse the leper.
The power to raise the dead.
Power to raise the dead.
The power against unclean spirits.
Power against unclean spirits.
The power to cast them out.
Power to cast them out.
In the name of Yahweh
In
Shah.
the name of Hawasha.
Thank you, so be it.
Thank you. So be it. Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'ayani.
Ashayani.
Ahahari. Mayan.
Mayan.
Yaba'ah.
Yaba'ah.
Izari.
Isaiah.
Izari.
Isaiah.
Ayin Yahweh.
I am Yahweh.
Aisha.
Aisha.
Shemayim.
Shemai.
Wa'aratiza.
Wa'aratiza.
Aliyah.
Ayatha.
Omawat.
Amawat.
Regal.
For God.
Aliyah one.
All you want.
Shamar.
Shema.
Anat.
Anat.
La'ayah one.
The ayah one.
Wala'ayah Yashun.
Wala ayah shum.
Shomar Yasha'al.
Shayimar Yasha'ala.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Shamar.
Shema.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Tezal.
Tazal.
Aliyah.
Aliyah.
Yum Yun.
Yam.
Yawamam.
Yayumam.
Hashemash.
Shema.
La'ayah Kaka.
The ayah ka.
Wayarach.
Wayarach.
Balayah.
Malaya.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Yashamar.
Yashamar.
Makal Ra.
Makal. Slaki. Makal Ra.
Yashamar.
Yashamar.
Afna Pashka.
Afna Pasha.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Yashamar.
Yashamar.
Taza'at.
Taza'af.
Wabawah.
Abala'af.
Ma'aitha. Wa'aid Awalum.
Well, I want in the English. I will lift up mine eyes unto the
I will
hills,
lift up mine eyes into the hills.
from whence cometh my help.
From whence cometh my help?
My help cometh from Yahweh,
My help comes from Yahweh,
which made heaven and earth.
which made heaven and earth.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He that keepeth thee will not slumber.
He that keepeth thee will not slumber.
Behold,
Behold,
he that keepeth Israel
he that keepeth Israel
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
The Most High is thy keeper.
The Most High is thy keeper.
The Most High is thy shade upon thy right
The
hand.
Most High is thy shade upon thy right hand.
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
nor moon by night.
nor the moon by night.
The Most High shall preserve thee from all
The
evil.
Most High shall preserve thee from all evil.
He shall preserve thy soul.
To preserve thy soul.
The Lord shall preserve thy going out
Preserve thy going out
and thy coming in from this time forth,
and thy coming in from this time forth,
and even forevermore.
even forevermore. Yashibike curses. Blessed are you, Yahweh,
Blessed are you, Yahweh,
King of heaven and earth,
King of heaven and earth,
and all things living,
and all things living.
Yahweh,
Yahweh.
in the name of Yahweh Shah.
In the name of Yahweh.
Listen to us now,
Listen to us now.
right now.
Right now.
Say the evils and curses,
Say evils and curses,
punishment, destruction,
punishment, and destruction
to the heathen,
to the
who
heathen.
speak against
I
us,
speak against
thy prophets,
thy prophets,
the teachers,
the teachers,
the princes,
the princes,
the priests,
the priests,
the Israelite brothers,
the Israelite brothers,
and the school.
and the schools.
Say the evils and curses,
Say evils and curses,
and punishment, destruction,
punishment, and destruction
to the heathen,
to the heathen.
and shake loose
And shake loose
the treasure
the
of
treasure
the rich of
of
Israel.
the rich of Israel
They refuse to give to the school.
that refuse to give to the school.
Force their riches to enter into thy sanctuary.
Force thy riches to enter into thy sanctuary.
Send evil and curses,
Say evils and curses,
punishment, destruction
and punishment and destruction
to the Edomites
to the
and
Edomites
the nation
and the
and
nations
their drug dealers,
and the drug dealers,
court system,
courses,
prison system,
princes,
Planned Parenthood,
Planned
and
Parenthood,
all the governments of our enemies,
all the governments of our enemies,
Amalek synagogues and arms,
Amalek, Silax, and all,
Roman Catholic Church,
Roman Catholic
the
Church,
Pope,
Pope,
Islam,
Islam,
Christianity,
Christianity,
Egyptology,
Egyptology,
militia,
militia,
Ku Klux Klan,
Ku Klux Klan,
Aryan Nation,
Aryan Nation,
skinheads,
skinhead,
posse comitatus,
Tassakamata,
the gay movement,
gay
the
movement,
lesbian movement,
lesbian movement,
spies, workers of witchcraft,
workers of witchcraft,
NASA space program,
NASA space
the
program,
Army,
the Army,
Navy,
the Navy,
Air Force,
Air Force,
Marines,
Marines,
Wall Street,
Wall Street,
open up the internet,
open up the internet,
the airways,
and the airways,
cable access channel,
cable access
the
channel,
radio channel,
the radio channel,
convict the spirit
convict the
of
spirit
any of thy people.
of any of that
They
people
seek to stop
that
us
seek to stop
and bring swift destruction
and bring swift
to
destruction
all the heathen,
to all the
that
heathen
stand in the way,
that stand in the way,
who try to stop us
try to stop
from
us
broadcasting your words
from broadcasting your word
throughout the planet Earth.
throughout the planet Earth.
Let loose all the plagues,
Let loose all the plagues,
cause them to go to and fro
cause us to go to and fro
through the earth,
through the
and
earth,
consume and consume
That
them.
the plagues shake the house of the thief
Shake the house of the thief
and the murderer.
and the murder.
Let your house shine.
The house,
Michael and Gabriel
Michael and
come
Gabriel,
down with the flying saucer
down with the flying
and
sword,
punish all the heathens
and punish all the
that
heathen
come up against us
that come up against us
as we speak thy word.
as we speak thy
Cause
word.
to be known by all
Cause you know my all.
that it is the angels that have done it.
That is the angels that have done it.
Cause to be spread through the media
Cause it to be spread through the media
throughout the whole world.
throughout the whole world.
Cause to shake it back coming.
Because of the shake that
In
coming.
the name of Yahweh
In
Shai.
the name of Yahweh Shai.
Thank you always.
Thank you always. So be it. So be it.
Sorry, face to front. We'll give one courtesy salute. Men of Israel, Imagine Shabbat, Imagine Barak, Yahweh Bashem Yahshua, Yajmatah, dismissed. And next week, we're going to be right here in chapter 40 and verse 11.